I have disposophobia. So I keep trying to come up with methods to help me get rid of items. Still trying to stick with my daily discards, and even though that seems like, well, it actually is a snail's pace, I now see a little more space in some cabinets because of it. I've been doing the daily discards for 165 days now, and some cabinets are a bit less crammed. They're not wide open spaces, but there's breathing room for once, and it feels nice. Yesterday, I noticed some available space in my pantry that didn't used to be available, and I thought that would be a good place to store my empty jars. I love glass jars and prefer them over plastic containers because plastic's generally made from petroleum. I'm especially fond of little jars, uniquely shaped jars, and don't even get me started on little uniquely shaped jars. I reuse jars all the time, like to store items I buy from the bulk food section. I've got empty jars stored in one kitchen drawer, but not all of my jars can fit in there. So I've had some jars also stored up in a high cabinet. But I'm short and it's not a convenient place to store something I use pretty often. The pull-out pantry would be a much more convenient place to store my jars. I went into the pantry to see what else I could part with and found some boxes of Jell-O gelatin. I used to love eating Knox blocks made out of Jell-O and unflavored gelatin. Knox blocks were the precursors to gummy bears, but I'm trying to eat less sugar and processed foods, so me and the Jell-O parted ways. I also cleared out some ancient spices and was able to rearrange things to make enough space for my beloved jars. I feel like it was helpful to have an end goal of what I wanted to use the pantry space for instead of just the general goal of decluttering. It gave me a reason to appropriate that space and evict items that are of less use to me, if that makes sense. Like my glass jars are exercising eminent domain over the shelf in the pantry. Having the jars in one location falls in line with video 6 I made about gathering like with like. Now that the jars are all together, I can see that I have more jars than I need. My next step is to decide which ones to let go of. Some I'll use to gift homemade granola. Then the rest I'm going to have to work up the to drop into the recycling bin. Like I said, I really love glass jars. And even though theoretically all those jars could be reused, I need to modify my beliefs about how many I actually need to keep. Anyway, maybe give that approach a shot. Focus on a particular space that you would like to devote to specific things you know you want to keep, display, whatever. And then with that end goal in mind, evaluate what's currently taking up that space. Hopefully, it will help you part with the unnecessaries.